Hi guys, my name is Riley and welcome back to T1Diabolical, where today I'll actually be going through an in-depth review on the 670 Medtronic insulin pump. The 670G is actually 3 insulin pumps built into one. The first insulin pump is basically just your regular insulin pump that will deliver you predetermined basals. You can enter your carbs and everything like that. Your typical insulin pump on the market right now. The second insulin pump is actually the 640G, which was never released in Canada. What it will do is at low, or even before you go low, it will suspend your insulin delivery. It works in conjunction with the CGM, the Guardian Link, and will feed back to the insulin pump, and it will determine when you're going low, and also at low. You can pretty much set up which feature you want, and it will suspend your insulin delivery. The third insulin pump is the 670 itself, and auto mode. And I will be going into auto mode quite a bit in this video. So what I'm going to call basic mode, you can basically program it just like any other insulin pump on the market. You can set your basal rates. You can also add your carb ratios. You can then add your insulin sensitivity to it. And the other cool thing is you can also set up your blood meter to sync with your insulin pump, so that way when you test your blood, it'll automatically sync right to your insulin pump. This way too, you can also have the readings right there, so that way you can dose insulin off the insulin pump. Or if you don't want to enter the carbs, but you know exactly how much insulin you want to take, you can deliver that right from the remote meter itself. The basic mode, you do not need to have the CGM set up. It's nice to have it set up. Trust me, I've been wearing a CGM for a long time now, but it's not necessary. The next mode I'm going to be talking about is the SmartGuard. Again, it's a 640, never released in Canada because we just got the 670, but the SmartGuard is pretty advanced as well. So what this allows you to do is basically everything that the basic mode does. Plus 2, it reads off a CGM. So the CGM reads right to your insulin pump. Same with your blood glucose meter. It reads right to your insulin pump as well. Again, with your blood glucose meter, you can only deliver how much actual insulin you're going to take and not how many carbs you're going to eat. With SmartGuard, the way that it works is basically it just has low predict in it. So what will happen is you can set it up in 2 different ways. You can set it up to suspend your insulin delivery when you're hitting a low. So at 4 or whatever your magic number is for low, it will stop insulin delivery. You can also set it up to predict. So basically, if you're at a 5.4 but you're starting to trend down, it can then predict that, hey, in the next 30 minutes you're going to go low. So we're going to suspend the delivery right now. Again, this works with your CGM. So the 2 have to go hand in hand. The only thing the SmartGuard cannot do is actually deliver you extra insulin. And the one thing I'm going to tell everybody is with the 670G insulin pump, why not be in auto mode all the time? I mean, it's less worrisome to know that you're going to be delivered extra insulin when you're going high and have no insulin delivered when you're about to go low. And now for auto mode. The best feature on the market right now. So with auto mode, it's going to deliver you extra insulin when you're going high and suspend insulin delivery when you're about to go low. So that way you can coast right out of it. The way that insulin pumps should be. On your insulin pump, you'll notice a blue shield that looks similar to this blue shield right down here. Now that blue shield basically is protecting your diabetes. When the blue shield's on, fantastic. When this blue shield actually turns gray, there's something that you have to do. Most of the time it's just entering the blood sugar. Entering the blood sugar basically tells, hey, the sensor is on track, or hey, maybe the sensor needs to be changed because something's going wrong. In auto mode, the manual will tell you that you do have to calibrate 3 times a day. And this is of course because it's dosing you insulin and it wants to make sure that it's correct. I've succeeded with doing anywhere from 2 to 3 calibrations per day. And of course the pump will tell you that you do have to do at least twice a day. So if you do it at 7 a.m., at 7 p.m. it will become due 12 hours after you last calibrated. After that, no CGM readings will be read. And it will also kick you into state basal. So basically what it's still going to do is predict the next little bit for your insulin delivery. But after an hour, it's going to kick you right into manual mode. To get back into auto mode, simple fix. Just calibrate the sensor. Also too, while you're in auto mode, every so often you'll get a reading on their pump that says BG required. That's just basically making sure that your sensor is still reading on point with what the actual CGM is saying. So if your CGM is saying 11, but your sensor reading is actually coming up at 20, there's a problem there. And it wants to make sure that your sensor is okay. All you have to do is just simply take your blood meter out, poke, and test. As soon as you do that, the readings are sent right to your insulin pump, where you can then accept the reading, and also too, you can calibrate as well if needed. My recommendations on the 670 is there is a lot of features that you can set up to have alarm. You can have alarm before you go low, when you're at low, before you go high, when you're high, calibration. You can set up events, you can set up everything with this pump. If you set them all up, first of all, your battery is going to die faster. Second of all, you're going to get alarm fatigue, and that's not a good thing. What I've done is I've set up my low alerts. So I've set up before I go low, when I'm at low. I haven't set up my high one because I really don't need to. I've also had my calibration one on, and that's it. And those have made me very successful with this pump. And the one thing I'll say with alarm fatigue, it's sort of like, sorry moms out there, it's sort of like your nagging mom, where she wants to make sure everything's okay, so she's calling you on your cell phone every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes. I can feel you right now getting annoyed with me saying every 2 minutes. But to avoid this, turn on the features that you want, and that will make you successful at this pump. Just because there's an alarm that says, hey, reservoir sensor change, you probably don't need it. Or if you do, just turn it on. But if you don't need the alarm, don't have it on. Also, you hear a lot of people saying, I got kicked out of auto mode, and it sounds sort of scary. But to be honest, being kicked out of auto mode isn't what it sounds like. When you're basically put out of auto mode, it gets you into state basal for a bit. And the reasons why you might actually get put out of auto mode is because it just needs a simple blood glucose reading. You might also need sensor change. It might be that it's delivered you so much insulin after a bit that you need to actually do a BG reading. It might actually be that it stopped delivering you insulin for a long period of time, so you need a BG reading. Most of the time, to kick you back into auto mode, all you need is a BG reading, and that's it. So don't be afraid when people actually say, I got kicked out of auto mode. It sounds a lot scarier than it actually is. Myself, I've been put out of auto mode a couple times. But again, I enter a blood glucose reading, and I'm right back in auto mode.